Welcome back, everybody, to another Rob Reviews. I want to start off by saying that I apologize for not doing the review for Episode 3, Walk of Punishment for Game of Thrones. I was unavailable to do that. I had a whole bunch of midterms for college, so that was tons of fun. But I, again, apologize, sorry for that, and that review will be coming to you shortly. I will try to get it done this week, if I can. So, but I just want to go ahead and make sure that I get all these reviews to you and not do what I did last year, which was get only like 4 reviews up and then quit at the end. And I just really want to get these done because these episodes are just fantastic and the show really deserves praise, especially from you guys. So let's start off, shall we? Episode 4, and now his watch is ended. I have to say, this episode was phenomenal in a sense that it raised the bar on what this show can do. From Jaime to Tyrion to Daenerys, holy crap, that scene was phenomenal, and it was picture perfect. Everything about it was fantastic. The choreograph, the fighting sequences, the writing, the special effects. Props that goes to those guys. Holy shit. It was great. It was fantastic. And okay, this show is very rare. You never see something like this come about in anything. I've never experienced a show that has the high production value as this. This is a rarity, and we are blessed to have this show last for 3 seasons. Holy crap. And we're getting a 4th one next year to continue with this book. I just hope they have more money, enough money to keep the show going. From the opening scene, we see Jaime with his hand tied around his neck. That, still have like pictures of that in my head. Holy crap. That scene was awesome. What is important about that scene is that it shows the character progression of Jaime, that he just has lost everything to him with that hand, his sword hand. He can no longer fight and is no longer useful in his own mind because he has lived his whole life as, the first son to Tywin Lannister, who was bred to be a warrior and a thinker, but not much of a thinker so much. So, you know what he's going through. He's just not in his right sense of mind. And Brienne is trying to reassure him and wake him up and say, hey, people have these struggles every day in their lives. Wake up to the real world. What's interesting is about that line is that Jaime, since he was the first son, was probably spoiled as a kid. Jaime probably had more opportunities as the firstborn of Tywin. So as you can see, he's used to having a lot of things given to him. But it was just great to see that characterization between Brienne and Jaime and see where that is going in the future. Moving from Jaime, I want to go to Bran and get that out of the way. Now, we see little of him this episode, and for good reason. There's so much stuff happening in this episode. But Bran is agreeably the weakest in this episode. Not to say that's bad, is to say that there wasn't a lot of content there. And to a degree, it was the same content we've seen in the past episodes of him being in a dream, and Jojen Reed, who is not played by the actor from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I found that out the hard way. But, nevertheless, Bran's scene is very interesting, but there's nothing there to go on. I wish there was a straightforward plot that him and his group is headed to. I want to know if he's being trained in the ways of the warg, or is he going somewhere? Where is he going? We're not really quite sure. They're just, walking away. or running away from Winterfell. And Jojen Reed, I'm surprised they haven't told them like where their goal is next, or like where they're taking him, or give some more characterization with Jojen. It's, I don't know, it just seems very awkward to have them just stare at each other very weird without any words being said or any writing. Just it feels blank. It's stale. I don't like it. Even in the books, I didn't really quite like it too much, but dream sequences in the books were much more entertaining than, I guess, the movie, the TV show. But it was interesting to see that Catelyn Stark was there, just talking to Bran and just saying that whole characterization of don't climb, which in him internally, he's having that conflict with himself, is saying that he shouldn't have climbed, because that's why he lost his legs in the first place, was because he put his nose into a business where he shouldn't have been, which was finding out that Jaime and Cersei were doing it. So, I don't know. Just wish there was more context to go on there. We'll see him progress in the future, no doubt. So, let's move to Craster's Keep. I really want to talk about this a lot. Craster is a mean old fuck. I really don't like him at all, and I'm sure no one else does. He's different than Joffrey, in which Joffrey is just so evil that his actor that plays him is just awesome, I have to say. But Craster, he's just not likable at all. And none of the Night's Watch like him at all. And even Commander Mormont is having... You can just tell he's just restraining himself from just punching him in the face. But you have to understand, in this world, there's a strict rule that applies to all of Westeros, which is the guest rule, which a guest cannot harm their host or hostess. And they violate that. I'm not sure of his name, but one of the Night's Watch members violated that rule by stabbing Craster in the head. Now, people may argue saying that it was the right thing to kill Craster, but in all honesty, come on. Was it justified to rape and pillage his women? Was it justified to steal his food? Was it justified to burn down his house and ruin everything? No, it wasn't. And Commander Mormont, very honorable man indeed, knew that it wasn't right to kill Craster, and a lot of people will disagree with that, but I would agree with Commander Mormont. So it's just a personal issue I have, that a lot of people didn't really get why Mormont wasn't gonna kill him. Well, because he's the host, they need him. They need him so they can keep on going on patrol missions. They need him so they can just keep on scouting out the area. They need a safe spot, even though Craster is a crappy host. Now, a lot of people weren't expecting Mormont to get stabbed right in the back, and it's just so painful to see that scene, because this is it's like right up there with Ned Stark dying. It's a nice, honorable man getting killed off because he's doing the right thing by disciplining his men. And sadly, the men he's with are all rapists and murderers, basically, for all of them. The Night's Watch is dwindling. It's dwindled. Basically, there barely is any more watch anymore. And it's sad to say that the wildlings probably won't find any resistance when they go over the wall or when they attack it. There's just no way. There's still Jon, but I guess Jon is... He's almost converted into being a wildling. And you see that internal conflict, which you don't see Jon in this episode, which was I was surprised with, but for good reason. I was more focused on Sam, and Sam is caught right in the middle of this. I feel bad for him, but he actually steps up to the bat. He runs away, but runs right for Gilly, and he says, "Time to move. Let's go." They go with the baby. He escapes with her. Where they're going? They're probably going back to the wall. How they're going to get there? We have to find out soon. And we'll probably find out next episode how they get back to the wall. But now you're seeing Sam step up, even though he wasn't able to defend Mormont, which a lot of people didn't see coming, so, he couldn't really do anything. you'd probably get killed. I hope Sam succeeds in this endeavor, and he probably will. Now, I hope he gets back to the wall so he can defend it and warn everybody that, hey, guess what? The whole Night's Watch is disbanded, and it's gone to civil war with each other, and they're all killing and pillaging each other. So, we'll see how that plays out in the future. Now, moving from Craster, let's go to Arya and Gendry, who we see are with the Brotherhood. I love the Brotherhood because they remind me of Robin Hood's Band of Merry Men, which I explained. There is an interesting unity between everybody in which that they all banded together because they're all deserters, but they're claiming to be soldiers, and to a degree because they all fought in war. And what their overall goal is, I'm unclear and unsure of, but there is a sense of unity with everybody there. And we see the leader of them, which is Sir Beric. Yeah, Beric Dondarrion, who sentences the Hound by a trial of combat with him. Now, we'll see that combat play out possibly next episode, most likely, and which is great because now we see more action in the series now. And this emphasizes the show is now kicking off with this episode, and it's fantastic to see this. We needed this boost in the show. It felt very slow in the beginning, and I was telling my friends to keep watching the show because even though it's slow, the payoff is fantastic. You need to move these pieces. You need to have these big movements with all the characters. It's a lot dialogue driven, this whole show. But when the action hits, it's well worth it and well waited for. And it's interesting to see the Hound just defend himself, and everything he's saying is true. It's right. He was under orders by Joffrey to kill the I forget Arya's friend's name from the first season, but which is understandable because if he didn't do that, then Joffrey would have found someone else, and he would have gotten the Hound fired or killed for disobeying his orders. And we see through Arya that she is really still fierce with determination and revenge that she was plotting in season 2, that she just was praying for the prayer of death, basically, for the Hound. And now she finally has him in his grasp, and she wants to kill him. She wants to tear him out, but she's just a little girl with little training as possible to sword. And all she can do is just watch Sir Beric take him down, and she wants him to die. Does he deserve to die? I'll ask you that. Does the Hound deserve to die? I personally don't think so. Even though he's done awful things, awful, I don't think he deserves to die. Now, I really want to see the Brotherhood Without Banners help Arya in training her and to hone in on her skills as an assassin or a warrior, like she was doing in the first season with Syrio. I just have a feeling that Arya will be a very dangerous assassin and killer in the future to come. She's seen so much and heard so much and has killed so much in her lifetime. And in the book, she's a freaking badass compared to the show. She's killed so many people that I really want to see her character emphasized, and I think we're going to see that next episode, and that's when I'll talk about her. Moving from them, I'll go to Theon Greyjoy. Here we see Theon Greyjoy being sadly betrayed by the person who was helping him the whole time. I don't know what the hell that was about, huh? He confesses to his savior, or supposed savior, that he didn't kill the Stark boys and that they're still alive. So, who is this person? He is, I think, I'm making a guess here. I think he's the bastard of Bolton, Bolton's bastard son, who was talked about a little bit in the show, but is a huge player in the books. Now, I hope they really go into his character more in next episode. I'm dying to see what happens to Theon. I really want him to live. I really want him to escape, but Theon, man, he is he's a very surprising character to me because I never thought I would like him in the second season, and I fell in love with him because he's such a good character. The whole story arc with him and his father, and proving his loyalty to two different houses was so unique. I never saw any character go through this that Theon, the same thing that Theon did. And in this episode, you see he actually goes back to siding with not Robb Stark. He doesn't like Robb Stark because Robb Stark represents everything that Theon never had. He never had that stance of authority. He never had that much power, and he wanted that, and he never got it from either his father or Ned Stark. But you see him loving Ned Stark in the end and saying that he was sorry and he made the wrong choice, which was just beautiful, you know? And that acting right there in the sewer was just great. And that is knowing that he has gone back to his senses and just, you know, remembered what was like before all this death. And he didn't want Winterfell to be burned to the ground, and it was. And so he lost his both homes. He's lost his Winterfell, and he's lost his home that he was born in, the Ironborn Islands, and that's sad. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And I hope that Theon lives so he can redeem himself. For him to die here would be a sad, sad thing and a sad waste. And I hope he's not just here to introduce a new character. I hope he's here to be used more effectively too. Now, we'll move from Theon to what I really want to talk about, which was the highlight of the whole show, which was the king of all scenes in this Game of Thrones series, I think, which was when Daenerys meets the slave master Kraznys, where she reveals to him that she has known the language of Valyrian all her life, that it's her mother tongue, that she's been toying with him, that she's been manipulating him with his greed into tricking him to take her dragon. She successfully does this by tapping into his greed, by seeing his weakness, by going against her advisors, which is Jorah and Barristan. She took Barristan's advice and Jorah's advice and combined it into both, which was, how can you lead an army that isn't loyal to you, that are just slaves? Or how can you lead an army that is sworn to you, but doesn't like you? Well, she combined it into both. She took the army, the Unsullied, attacked the whole place when she got them, but then released them. She knows how to not play with people. No, not play with people. She knows how people think. She knows how the slaves think, because she was a slave. She sympathizes with these people, which is not like what Cersei does, not like what Marjorie does, not much with any of the other leaders do. She really sympathizes with these people, and which is just beautiful and great, and that's what makes her a great leader, and that's why I want her to win this Game of Thrones. I really want her to take over King's Landing, have it for herself, and rule the just fist. Not an iron fist, a just fist. That's what she did here. That's how she got her Unsullied army with her and tore down the place. She is truly a leader, and if you thought she was just all talk right now, this episode should prove you wrong. She is very smart, capable, and practices what she preaches. I almost forgot what happened in King's Landing, which was a lot of stuff too. It was beautiful, great. Tyrion talking with Varys. Varys had a huge part in this episode. He did 3 things. He talked to Tyrion, he gave advice to him about revenge, how it will come in time, how you need to wait patiently in order for you to get your revenge in time. Varys also goes into how he was cut and how he hates magic, and which is very interesting because he said he would do this at the end of season 2, episode 9, which before the battle. And we also see him that he captured the magician who had him cut in the first place. So that's why he hates magic, which because he was cut by a magician for dark purposes. And we also see him go to one of Littlefinger's former slave girls to ask her, Ross, to ask her what he's been up to. And Ross gives him information. I don't know how she did it, but she got it. And she tells him that they have bed for two, so now Varys knows that he will try to bring Sansa with her when she goes. And he gives that information, again, to Lady Orella, Marjorie's grandmother, and says, hey, maybe, you guys should manipulate Sansa or something like that, or protect the girl or something. And then Marjorie that goes to Sansa and says, hey, want to come to the High Garden? And Marjorie, I don't know if she's being very sympathetic to her or not. Maybe she is. Maybe she actually sympathizes with her. And I've seen interviews with her actress, and the actress does say that she does sympathize with Sansa, which is interesting because we see that Marjorie's very manipulative. And do we really trust her? Do we? After seeing her tour with Joffrey? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But she says she would consider Sansa as a sister, and I hope that's true because Sansa really needs a strong character to lead her, because she has no strong character to help, guide her except for Shae. So we'll see her character develop too. And this episode was just phenomenal, and it makes me want to bring back the rating system. It really does. And I give this a 10 out of 10. Really, this was just a beautiful episode. Everything about it, the dialogue, the scenery, everything was great. The only flaw I could say was probably the scene between Bran. That's only because there was barely any dialogue that needed to be done. I really want to see Jojen characters get more developed. Come on, give us some more detail. Give us some more how you found us, or not how you found them, but because I know you found them in a dream. But give us some more detail on the character, and I hope we see that. So, yeah. All right, that's been it. I am glad that you joined me for this review, and I hope to see you again for the next episode of my reviews for Game of Thrones. I'm really curious to see how it plays out in the next episode. I really hope Theon survives. I really hope the Hound survives. I really hope everybody survives. I don't want people to die in the show, but they are. A lot of people are. And hats off to George R.R. Martin and everybody who's translated this from the books to the big screen. So this is a great time to be a Game of Thrones fan. All right, this has been Rob Summaries signing off.